Now, there's no doubt about it that by far, one of the most respected Star Wars characters by the fans is, of course, Luke Skywalker. This is the very character that really kickstarted the franchise, all thanks to George Lucas, and not a big thanks to Disney for mishandling him in The Last Jedi. As you all know, that really kickstarted a large controversy and a very large backlash that lasted, and still, to this day, has created a division within the fandom. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future Star Wars updates. I'm also on Twitter at Mike01. I thank you all so very much for the great and kind support. Now, given that there are over 12 different Star Wars projects being worked on simultaneously by Jon and Dave alone, we also have other projects such as Andor Season 2 being handled by Tony Gilroy. We have Kathleen Kennedy developing the Acolyte and Skeleton Crew, which not a lot of people are truly looking forward to that because she's involved heavily. But I digress. The thing about Luke is that we know that Jon and Dave are handling the character as best as they can. Mandalorian Season 4 is going to be very Luke heavy, and it's going to have a lot of features about the character, and how it's going to connect to the Ahsoka series will also be explained later down the road. And that brings us to exactly what happened with Mark Hamill. We're going to be diving into the specifics about what really happened between himself, Kathleen Kennedy, Lucasfilm as a whole, and a specific Star Wars project that was supposed to involve Luke Skywalker's second big cameo, apart from the Book of Boba Fett. Now, we know that Kathleen Kennedy has been always wanting to create her own take on Luke in the streaming service realm, right? In the TV series universe, whatever you want to call it, the Mandoverse. And so, on top of that, with Mark Hamill getting more involved with Jon and Dave and their plans for the future of the brand, Hamill went through a phase of issues with one project in specific that involved Kathleen Kennedy. Now, it's noted that Mark Hamill was originally attached to Skeleton Crew as Luke Skywalker, where he was supposed to jump in and save the children and Jude Law's character dubbed as the teacher in a saber duel against the Knights of Ren. Now, this was a fully written scene, and even sets were built by John Watts for the actual scene that ended up getting deleted in the long run. Mark Hamill reportedly got himself into trouble with, of course, Kathleen Kennedy and Lucasfilm when he didn't like how the Knights of Ren were being replaced with pirates instead, for him to fend off, and felt that it was very cartoony and almost like a parody for Star Wars. Hamill kept expressing that he had very big fears about the scene and how the fans would react, and that this concern of his caused Kennedy to erase his scene altogether, and of course, from the Skeleton Crew series in general. Now, this all took place back in December of 2022, right around when they were starting to film a very important scene for the 4th episode. The other thing that Hamill didn't like about Kennedy's use of Luke in Skeleton Crew was that she specifically instructed him and the creatives to keep the hood over his head, and that Luke's face was never going to be shown in the show, as she felt that keeping them a mystery, of course, or him a mystery, is better. Let me pause right here for a second. This, to me, makes absolutely no sense. Why would you bring Mark Hamill back to play the role of Luke, to step into the role again, somehow, some way, and you're gonna hide his face? Now, it sounds like it was more of like a behind-the-scenes way to honor Mark Hamill, to come back and get involved as Luke again. I don't really know how that would have worked. Maybe he was training with another actor to pick up on his mannerisms or something like that. Who knows? Similar to what happened in the Book of Boba Fett. But apart from this, she did not want Luke's face to be revealed at all, period, in the Skeleton Crew series. His hood was going to be over the entire time. And believe it or not, guys, this is kind of ringing a bell a little bit. You guys may recall that she actually originally wanted that to happen in Mando Season 2, where Luke's face would not be unveiled at all, to really kind of just keep the mystery at bay, and to keep that really, as a consistent thing with Luke. Now, replacing the Knights of Ren with pirates, and these pirates, by the way, are described to be the same exact clan of pirates that you see in Mando Season 3 that were set to appear in Skeleton Crew in this scene in particular. Now, the pirates are also set to be in Skeleton Crew. They're already involved in the show. They will be returning. They're going to play a pretty big role in the show. That's about as far as we know. But the thing about this scene that involved Luke is that Mark Hamill was raising his concern about replacing the Knights of Ren with the actual pirates, making it feel less serious, and it was more comedy-driven, more like a parody, as Mark Hamill would explain. Now, apart from that, Hamill knew this too would only bother fans, and raised his concern, also leading to him losing the scene altogether from the show. Hamill only partially shot footage for Skeleton Crew, and nothing of pure substance was complete. Hamill was let go for simply raising his concerns over another Last Jedi situation happening again. And now Luke is being replaced with some mysterious Jedi to fend off the same pirates, seen in The Mandalorian Season 3. John and Dave, however, are looking to recover the footage of Luke fighting the Knights for what little material was shot to use in a future project if need be. Now, here's the kicker about all of this, is that the takeaway for me is that Mark Hamill was probably only on set to kind of train another actor to pick up on his mannerisms. I don't really see how an older Mark Hamill, even body-wise, would be able to pull off a young version of Luke, right? He's not the same body weight, he's not quite slim like the other people that were involved, that were doing the bodies of Luke in Book of Boba and stuff, and even in The Mandalorian Season 2. So, I think what was really going on here, and this is all partial stuff, is that Mark was actually using this as a reference point to show other people how to use the character. Now, keeping the hood over his head, though, not just for Mark Hamill, but for the character of Luke in general, just goes to show you that Kennedy likes the whole less is more concept. She really drives on that. She's done this throughout all of the Star Wars movies, by the way. Luke in The Force Awakens, less is more, she believed. In The Last Jedi, Luke getting action, less is more. The Rise of Skywalker, very few Palpatine moments, less is more. You've seen a lot of things like that. If you think about it real hard, right? The most that Palpatine really did, action-wise, I guess you could say, or something of significance, truly, was really spewing the lightning in the sky. But anyways, I digress. The thing about Skeleton Crew is that Mark raising his concern led to his demise of playing Luke in the Skeleton Crew series. And you know what? It's not a big loss for him, because in the beginning, Mark was even having doubts about that character's influence on the surrounding characters in Skeleton Crew, almost like as if Mark Hamill felt it was a pointless cameo, so to speak. Thankfully, he will be coming back, though, in Mando 4, and in, of course, other projects being handled by John and Dave separately, so that's a good thing to look forward to on top of all of this, unless, of course, John and Dave have a change of heart. I highly doubt that. But anyways, guys, that just goes to show you what Kathleen Kennedy really cares about. She wants to drive fans away from Luke at any cost necessary. So, anyways, guys, with that being said, drop a comment below. Fill me in below in the comments what you have to say about this. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.